Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of our Big Brother Chit Chat here on Crazy Hank TV. And with me, as always, is Mr. David Gott and Miss Jamie Joe. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm relieved. I'm relieved it's done.
Okay, yeah, that's one of those emotions that I was talking about before we started.
I'm real happy for America's favorite player because he was my favorite player.
Mine too. I actually voted for him several times, and I don't usually do that. So, yeah, I mean, started out the episode kind of like, meh, right? You're like not excited to watch tonight, I'm going to guess. That's how I felt.
Kind of a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
I was excited to watch for tonight just because I have been keeping up on the Twitter and I know what all of the evictees have been saying and feeling and sharing. So I was kind of looking forward to seeing all the eye rolls.
Some comeuppance. I didn't keep up with Twitter, no surprise. So I was kind of hoping, but still a little afraid that I was hoping that the evicted house guests saw what was really going on and that the right person would win. The lesser of two evils, exactly. Oh my God, perfect.
Well, I don't think she never personalized the stuff like he did. I mean, he accomplished the impossible. He made me of all people, feel bad for Chris Kirkpatrick. Now, F him, I don't like him, but you know what? I felt horrible when he started going, your son would be embarrassed of you. I mean, who does that?
Yeah, that's not cool.
Kylan does that.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We don't like that. That's a thing. People do not like that kind of gameplay. 99.9% of the time.
Kylan's like the cookout member they put up with, like the crazy uncle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it I don't know. Misha did not do and say the things and go to the extent that Todrick did, but none of what Todrick was saying was really a secret. And he told her a lot of what he had said. And my biggest downfall with her is that she never once went, well, that's kind of mean.
Yeah.
Never. Nothing. Not even close to a notion.
But if she would have done that, since Todrick's not going to ever take responsibility for what he does, would that have fractured their alliance?
Maybe. But then I also think that I don't think that she didn't say anything because she was protecting her own game. If I'm going to give any stretch room on this, maybe it's because in her line of competition, there is a lot of peacocking and crap talking that goes into what she does. Like any press that she has, she's going to have. There's always got to be some beef with her.
Like you're trying to get in your competitors' heads,
right?
Kind of
so
situation.
I guess that's about the only place that I can give a little wiggle room. Is that's just sort of a natural place for her to fall into with competition. But at the end of the day, catty is catty, mean is mean. It's poor
unnecessary.
If anything.
Well, it was unnecessary. Mean, though it really crossed beyond mean. I'm okay. Who was the guy with the pots and pans who ran around the house?
Josh copying Dick Donato, but yes.
Right, but Josh
was meatball
was mean, but he wasn't evil. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He was obnoxious, but it was never mean.
But he turned it on. He turned it on to get under their skin because
but it was a contrived gameplay.
But he wasn't doing that the whole time. He was always kind of annoying, but that he really was like, oh, you want to see something?
The perfect comparison in Josh's season is Paul. And in Paul's first season, he was a good guy and everybody liked him, friendship. And then his following season, the one with Josh, he played an overall better game as far as just making moves goes, but he had such horrible jury management, and that's how Josh won the game.
Right.
By a landslide. Because jury management, we know a few people that will repeat that phrase. It is as important as winning competitions, probably more than winning competitions, because it's where your vote's coming from.
So what do you think swayed the jury here? Was it evilness?
They absolutely watched and saw how mean and personal he was.
Well, clearly Todd did, because Todd was Todd
Okay.
was on fire, and I
The-
hope
this-
he had them all tricked into thinking he was a sweet guy who cared about them,
And the way he
was interested. No, it was just gossip first, so he could go in the other room and cut you up.
So
right.
did Cynthia not see the evil, or did she not care?
Cynthia just doesn't notice things
No,
in
no, 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 no.
general.
I think she didn't know. I think because if you look at it, of all the votes, the only one vote he got for him was the person who hadn't seen what really happened.
Yep.
And that speaks volumes for how they all pictured him while they were inside. They
Right.
probably all felt about him more
Well, you're
or
right,
less.
because she didn't see any of the feeds because she had
Exactly.
just walked out.
She just
Yep.
walked out, and in her mind, Todrick was there and he was helpful for her.
And he was such a good guy. You know,
Such a
he was
good
such a
guy.
good guy.
Like a son, I think she said at one point. But
And his whole like reveal of I'm a super fan, and it was such a Frankie Grande moment.
and
Like,
I'm going to say right now, I'm calling complete bull BS on his super fan, because a super
Yep.
fan knows you better watch your mouth. You better control that
Yes.
jury. Those people you're sending out, they're going to be having to vote for you, and they are not going to respect this kind of meanness.
that
and he
is
got that. His social game was garbage.
and that was a very telling place to see what his super fandom really looks like in his own head. And just a couple days before that, he had suggested to Misha what episodes she should go back to watch. And he was, or not episodes, but seasons. And he was telling her like the worst seasons, like notoriously the most unfun, ungreat seasons that exist,
Really?
and did not include season 23. Like, he's
Weird.
basically a landlord to half of that staff right
Right. Didn't pimp his own friends.
Nope. The friends that he was bragging about, that he's had all of them stay at his house, he didn't even tell her to watch their season. It doesn't make any sense. The guy's all over the place. All over the place.
Well,
I
why
really
would he want
liked the
people so
messages.
personally. I mean, is that who he is underneath, and he unveiled it?
Yes. It's who he is. You go Google him. Go Google him and see how quickly you can find
That
the term
video.
Froderick.
Well,
and you will
I
know.
think he actually hurt his career.
Mhm.
I think so too, because I think a lot of things have coalesced into all these little random stories about him and now come together, and everyone's seeing the big package of.
There was a
his-
very
his
large
meanness.
Todrick reveal party. Okay, here's the thing. Love it or hate it, Big Brother fandom is a thing. It's a force. And when
But
there
apparently
is
not
somebody,
a big enough force to get Shayna America's favorite player.
right, apparently not. But the reality is of that force is that it can be used for great things, but it's often used for really negative, mean things. And there's lots of like exposing somebody's self or whatever, like they're who they are outside of the house. Like, that's a big thing that happens. And there was a Todrick exposing party where it was like, here's a list of all of the things that this guy has pending, the stories that are coming out from him, people that have had brush ups with him, people
his
he
own videos that they've gone back and showed.
Yes.
His own videos,
Right.
ones that he took of himself doing very mean, bullying, horrible, not inhumane things, and posted them for the whole world to see. They're using that on him, and it's like, yeah, he's not a good dude.
And then you
it may be a naive statement to say, but in the circles he runs, I think acceptance and kindness is kind of the stock in trade.
Sort of important.
And for him to be so angry and so mean.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he has a long history of it. It's not one or two people that he's made mad and they've decided to go tarnish his name. It's a repeated pattern. It's just who he is. It's who he is.
Well, I mean, contrast him with Carson, who I think down deep is a sweet, kind, caring, loving individual.
Yep.
I don't, some of it, some of the thing is a facade, but most of it is who he is underneath.
Right. Well, you can only fake so much when you do, especially if you're doing a lot of reality TV, which Carson, that's kind of his bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, parts of who you really are gonna be there. And in contrast to almost the entire cast that Todrick was with this year, realistically, like Kirkpatrick. I mean, maybe not so much Misha or Cynthia. I'm not really sure. But Todd and Lamar and Carson and
Yeah.
Catan, all of them, Myra, all of them were taught. It was about bonding with people and looking out for each other. They all had that one. Maybe they just seemed a lot kinder because the contrast was so different with one personality just
I
really.
wonder if it has to do with
really
an age thing, though, too. You get to a certain point in your life where you just go, like, the meanness and the pettiness is just not worth it. It's not.
Kind of fades back.
And
Yep,
for the people who've been famous a lot longer, too, going like, it's not worth it. Like,
right,
I'm still the package that I'm trying to sell.
right. This isn't who you get to be forever. You have to take care of
Right.
this, right?
But
Yep.
some of the people, like, I have to admit to completely prejudging Lamar incorrectly.
Correct.
I
Me
mean,
too.
I really
Absolutely.
thought
Guilty.
I really went to the stereotypical NBA guy that, married a Kardashian. I thought he was going to be very surface. And, obviously he's hurt himself mentally over the years.
Yeah.
But man, he's got a little depth and he's got some feelings and he wasn't afraid to express them a lot. And I just,
Mhm.
And he
really
wasn't.
liked him by the
Yeah.
end. He was
Yeah.
probably, he was coming up to Carson as my favorite.
I think he was super hurt because did you see him when they showed him? He just looked like he was kind of slumped sitting in the chair. And that whole thing kept running through my head about how he had said, "You mean the losers get to vote?" Oh, no. But I think he understood after he left and got to watch the show why it is that the losers get to vote. Because if you're
Well,
not
I
nice
think-
to the people that you're sending out the door, you're not
And Cedric
winning.
had him buffaloed because you saw the whole thing.
They
and
were
how
hugging
close
and
they were.
cuddling and
Well, that was what
flirty.
CBS wanted you to see because it didn't show Lamar tearing up his cards, like tearing up Todrick's
Oh, yeah, you
card.
told me.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it didn't show the eye rolls and the little like trying not to laugh at some of the stuff he would say. And like his first interview out, he was like, I couldn't stand him. Like straight up,
Really?
I could not stand that guy. So I think that they had a good 10-15 minutes, and Lamar is also knows how to get along with people.
Yeah,
He just knows
Okay.
how to get along with people.
That just proves he has even more depth than even David explained.
Yep.
I mean,
That's
I
an
would
EQ thing. It's understanding how you impact others, right?
sure.
Yeah.
I think Lamar as a person going into the game from day one to tonight, I think he's the one that has the biggest comeback story because I wasn't
him and
as a
Todd.
Right.
but I
Todd
didn't
looked
think
like a thing of clay for
yes,
two-thirds
but
of the
I
show,
didn't
and all
think
of a
I
sudden he
never
came alive.
disliked him. But I never disliked him. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Not or I actually went in going, kind of would be great if he won.
Right.
He
Right.
didn't talk much, and he didn't have anything to say early on. And then, at the end when he turned it on, and really, let's face it, he probably should have won the last HOA challenge he played in, and he messed up because he was going too early.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have just listened to one more of those clues, he'd have won that HOH.
Mm-hmm. He had it so in his head that the first person who buzzes in with the correct answer wins. So, and so he was so afraid I could get the right answer, but I'm not
He
the
was
first
up
one.
2-0, I mean,
And
she won 3-2.
Yeah. So we've spoken.
I gotta say that final three with Cynthia, Misha, and Todrick, I think was a really great example of who paid attention to the words other people were saying and what they did in the house. Because Todrick should have done better than what he did. He should have done for as hard as he was gaming and as much as he was pushing around and acting like he knew this and that and the other thing. That was not a hard competition. He should have done better. Cynthia, it's not really a surprise. She spent a lot of time in the room and not really know what was going on.
Yeah.
But it shows he was not listening to other people. He was not learning about who other people were.
That's an excellent point that I didn't think of.
He strikes
Great
me
observation.
as somebody who doesn't listen. He's thinking about what he's going to say while other people are talking.
Right.
He was planning his ceremony.
Now listen, though, all of the
That was funny.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. But that's clearly what he was
What was
planning.
amazing was Todd's reaction to the entire thing. To me, that's what that's what was precious. It's like,
So what set Todd off? Do
Frankie,
you know?
he's just annoyed by him.
No,
Because Todd,
What you saw something on the feeds? He said that.
well, it started when he was in the house. He was starting to get a little bit just generally annoyed in
I
general.
think being with him 24/7, somebody like
It was
Todrick
too-
would, I think it would be exhausting.
Yeah, but
Yes,
he
it was
said
too
something
much
like-
for him.
And
He said
Misha
something
wasn't
like,
even.
you shouldn't talk bad about somebody when they're already out of the house.
Well, and this
Yeah.
is this was so funny is that
Didn't talk bad about him at all.
he had been on there with Julie, and his exit interview, and he said, "Oh yeah, he's going to have my vote." And Julie was like, "Well, you can't tell us yet, and you got a little catching up to do." And he's like, "Well, I just really think that he wanted it the most, and he's playing it the most." And then it was probably an hour or something after that, and somebody had tweeted,
Him all
I
the.
wonder how long it's going to be before Todd Bridges gets on Twitter and changes his mind. And then,
Mhm.
like, instantly, Todd Bridges shares that post and says 3 minutes. Because as soon as
What did you see
he got
in
on
3
to,
minutes, though?
as soon as he got onto social media and started clicking, because people are like,
Well,
they're
it also
screen
might have been-
capping these things, and
You know what happens too when Julie signs off? He goes and he talks to the production
the
team and stuff,
therapist,
and they probably
yep.
said, "Dude."
Sure.
Well, and they have to give him like a rundown. They do it with the regular cast members. There's no way they don't do it with
Oh,
celebrities.
do they say like, "Hey, that thing you said several times, just so you know you
because
were
they
wrong"?
have like a PR team, and then
Oh,
also
okay.
like
Starts prepping them right away.
some past contestants that we've had that were like really notorious, like that Erin girl, like their family hires like a PR rep immediately when these things start to happen, so that as soon
Wow.
as they get out of the house, damage control can start.
Well, I suppose
happening.
not only for that, but it's probably a kinder way to say so that they're not bombarded and like noticing it and like blindsided. You tell them like, "Listen,
Right.
there's some stuff you haven't seen, just so you know.
Yeah.
Let's catch up to speed." And they do it. I hope they do it in a way for some of them that doesn't hurt as bad. But
Right. And honestly, Todrick's not a great person, but just on the value that he is a person and everybody deserves a chance for redemption, I do hope that because it's not going to reflect well on him. I think he's going to lose a lot of jobs. There's people he has
I think he
contracts
hurt his
with.
career. I do.
He definitely has people he has contracts with, and he's still going to run the circuit, with that. People have put money into him.
but he'll slip a little bit. It'll slip.
But he's
He'll have to
gonna
work a little
have
harder to get back.
Exactly. And he's going to have to want people to see him in a better light than what he's exposed himself as. So
And that entertainment community is smaller than you really think.
Right.
Look, I make a lot of fun of Chris Kilpatrick and honestly F him. But that said,
Yes.
he was in a very successfrick band. He's
That
friends
he
with freaking
started.
Justin Timberlake, for God's sakes.
Yep.
He's got some people who are going to be like, Todrick did to my boy. That ain't right,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that stuff gets around.
And I mean, he's one of his best buddies is Taylor Swift, and I mean, she's kind of like if she gets pushed in the wrong direction, I know that if one of my biggest past employers was Taylor Swift, I would not want her to think bad things because that would be a really big problem.
Oh my God,
forward.
one tweet from her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would really mess his career up.
So I mean, he's taken jabs at the Braxton family. I mean, he's got a lot of catching up to do. I would not want to be in that.
It was like he got on Big Brother and he went nuts thinking that Big Brother was going to be the rest of his life. Like that old life was gone. Like he wasn't going to come back and try and join that life again.
Well, and it's difficult too because it's like, okay, also you're on Celebrity Big Brother, and I'm not saying that that's an easy thing, but that's not 3 months. That's not all the viewers.
Right, this is
entire
like
summer.
25 days, right?
But still, for them to not be normal people, it's hard. I think it's harder. They have to really navigate a minefield every single day. Just for like, how is this going to blow back on me? How is this going to reflect on my brand?
Don't hurt your career. Don't,
And he owes so many people money. He owes so many people money. He is,
and he only got 50,000.
He's notorious for not hiring or not paying his dancers, his editors for
No.
his YouTube stuff. Like, he was even bragging about it on live feeds about how he doesn't pay his editors
Oh,
because
see, no.
it's not worth their time. And I
So
mean,
not
it's bad.
only
It's really bad.
not only is no one going to want to work with him, he's not going to be able to get anybody to work for him.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it wasn't worth it, dude.
No, and his you know, the
and then he
cookout
didn't win, and the
crew,
look
like,
on his face was like.
oh, you could see it right before that commercial break, before she read the votes, like
But
after they
they'd
all
all said their
something.
piece.
Mhm.
Please tell me
when
someone tweeted
Carson's
out
vote got
what people
read,
said.
did you see his face drop?
Oh yeah.
Because he was sure Carson was voting for
Because
him.
he knew then. He was like,
oh shoot.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. Let
It's
me
a bad
ask you
deal.
guys, because I don't follow. I know the Kardashians had a TV show, and I know a little about them. But
Yeah.
Lamar's ex-wife is with someone new, right? Is she married?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I am not the person to
Assuming
ask.
she's in a
I don't keep up with them.
relationship, doesn't that make Julie's question a little inappropriate?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Well, okay,
She
what
asks
makes
horrible questions sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of what Julie asks is inappropriate, but that's beside the point. She's asking. It's a weird, uncomfortable thing to ask anybody. First of all, like, if your ex is watching, what do you want to say to them? Like,
Hi,
dear
how are you?
Julie, that's really weird. But also, I mean, given what his ex sister-in-law has been going through, inappropriate to like keep bringing this out. And I can't help but feel that Julie's just trying to bring some of that Kardashian gold into the game, you know?
That's what I thought when she did
Yeah.
it, and I thought it was a little cruel, especially if she's with somebody else and reconciliation probably isn't going to happen. Why would you hold that out there? And you knew the guy was clearly hurt, and he probably behaved poorly, and who knows, he probably cheated or whatever
Right.
he did.
Because this
But
was
the point of
before
the
he
matter
really
is,
had a reckoning, you know?
but he's clearly tore up over it,
Yes.
So why kick him in the face? I mean,
This is
Todd
coming
would
from
do
the
it, but
woman.
what, Julie?
This is coming from the woman who decided that not once in a season, but twice in a season would wear a crochet dress on live TV. So,
Les
I
has been
mean,
working hard, He had one ready
whatever.
for the premiere and for the finale.
Maybe she just really wants him to get married so she can officiate it.
Is she crocheting them herself, maybe?
No,
Do you
it's
think-
Les Moonves because he has all the time on his hands. We already discussed this.
And the entire female population won't talk to him.
Right, and he's just stuck
Half
at
the
home
world
with no
won't talk to
job.
him.
Christy,
He's
did
like,
you see that on that clip with Julie and Carson? Did you see how Carson
"Woo."
wrote his name? It said Carson Chen Moonves on his little on
Did
his
he?
tag.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that was
Really
super
stupid.
awkward. She really didn't read his shirt correctly.
Yeah.
Did you see that, David?
Mm-mm.
It was.
Yeah, he hasn't seen it.
He showed up for the interview with Julie, and he's wearing a shirt that says "Born Again Christian Dior." Okay,
Okay.
that's funny. He's into fashion. Awesome.
Yeah.
But Julie all of a sudden takes their little interview, and she segues it to the side about how when Jesus was God and when he walked on the earth and all of this stuff. And so he kind of,
for this.
because she thinks he's wearing a shirt that says "Born Again Christian." So he kind of leans like this, so the Dior's more prominent. Didn't matter. She just went for her.
And see, she's doing her own podcast now. She does like a Christian podcast
Great.
where she, and so I think she just
Time
kind of
and
like
place,
got
Julie,
into the
time and
flow
place.
of got into her little flow of
And look,
being a
if she's
pastor.
religious and that's her beliefs and she wants to talk
Yeah.
about it, I think that's great. I don't think you do it on national TV on a reality
Right. Time and place.
Right.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was just based on the fact that
Jamie impersonation.
she didn't read very well.
But I think that it's also in Julie fashion. It can be uncomfortable to certain people, just like asking them if their ex is watching. What do you want to say to them?
Yeah, she's real awkward.
It's like trying to get personal, but like doing it in all of the wrong places, maybe.
I mean, Chimbot lives on, right?
Who saw the most amazing thing occur at the very end of the episode when they all got up?
Which part? The hugs? The
She
hugging?
hugged Chris Kattan. She's
Mhm.
been air hugging all year. Now she's hugging Chris Kattan.
He like beelined for her. Do you think they're buddies? Like, do you think they kind of have bonded in the
I don't
past or
know,
during
but it's
this?
just like
Well,
it's like
he would-
everyone else. She's like air hugs. Don't come near me.
Right.
Well, he would have been friendly with the execs at NBC when he was with SNL, but I wouldn't
Sure.
have thought that he had any reason to become buddies with CBS. But I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, he like beelined for her, and they did like immediately hug.
Did
I
tell
just
y'all my
loved
wife
that
had
he
no
just
idea who
suddenly.
he was?
I
He
just
was
loved
just
that he
there.
suddenly appeared.
Magic.
Well, it was so great because, like, no, Chris Kattan didn't expect him to be there because he didn't get to have a vote because he self-evicted, and then all of a sudden there he was, and I about died. I was laughing so hard. It's just like, hi,
Bless his little heart.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We
My
love
wife
the
didn't even know who
Kattan.
he was. And so I ran the Night of the Roxbury for her the first 5 minutes.
Still, she was
you
like,
said
She had
that.
no idea. She's like, I must have, been busy.
Busy time, those late
Busy.
90s.
I went online to see if they had transcripts yet of what people said, the little things when they put their key in. Because I'm telling you what, someone should feel sunburned right now because they got burnt.
It. Super burnt. I actually put a little tally mark because I was like, they're going to say something. This is the only opportunity they get to say something.
Yes.
They're going to say something. And I was kind of judging like whose vote was going to go where by like who like threw a burn, and Shayna's was fun, of course.
Dude, she doesn't ever want it. She'll never have to hear his voice again.
Yeah. But then
that was so
Todd's was like so much of a grown man too, where it's just like
What was his?
talking bad about people once they've left the room.
Oh, who was it that said you love the Wizard of Oz, but you didn't realize we could see behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that was good. Because that should have been like ding 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 ding. What is she talking? Oh wait, did they see what I said?
It was a good one. I feel like she got some of her dad's like writing cred on that right there. That was a good.
Yeah, that was a good one. Odom said that he had just got a tattoo that day,
And then he never told us what the tattoo was. That was a gem.
It must have said like integrity or honesty
or something like that. That's what I thought.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time talking about why Todrick did not deserve to win, but we haven't talked about Misha and her actual win. What do you think of Misha winning? Does she deserve to win? I mean,
well, she won about 1 million HOHs and
vetoes. I'm not a huge fan of her personality. I think there was a few places she could have maybe been a better human, but like I think she deserves to win. She kicked ass in there.
From what we saw and heard, she spent a lot of time in the house working out because she's getting ready for a fight. And I'm going to guess that put a cramp in her social game. Yeah. Right? She didn't get to hang out with people as much. She's super focused, so she can't just be like instantly relaxed and having a good time.
And like the only time she was out was making food for other people. Like we had talked about that before. That's not a bad game move. But playing solitaire like constantly, and it made me laugh because like this is why production doesn't give
them
these people anything to do because live
they would just zone out
solitaire for a solid week and a half. All you hear,
nobody wants to see that.
Nothing's happening, and that's what she was doing: working out or playing solitaire.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a whole lot of game talk.
Do you think that it possibly her strategy was she knew how Todrick was rubbing people? Because his social game was crap too. He was that person she could take to the end, and it wasn't she would beat him because she obviously played a better physical game, right, for the competitions.
And she wasn't hateful to half the people.
But her social game was just as crappy as his, just in a different way.
But she wasn't mean.
No, but that's what I said, in a different way. People were, while they were in there, they thought Todrick liked them.
Right.
Yes.
If he had not said the mean things, he could have won.
Absolutely.
Because I think he would have. Before they saw any behind the scenes, they all felt he was playing the social game. Isn't that why Todd said he wanted it more? He was working harder for it.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to give Todrick one bit of credit. and
Yeah.
I think we have to acknowledge this.
Besides the ceremony.
The ceremony was great. But
Okay. Yeah.
the best game move this entire season was when he turned Carson and Cynthia against Shayna. Now, I'm not saying it was nice. I'm not saying it was right.
Was it
I'm
masterful?
saying that as a game move, it was a master stroke.
Yeah,
and
it was.
Basically, Carson and Cynthia gave Misha the win.
Yep.
Because if they take her out there, one of those two, probably Carson, wins.
Yep.
I will give him that credit, but with a lot of hesitation, because they weren't difficult. Anybody could have done. I really feel that anybody who would have known Carson for 5 minutes out of the house could have done it. Because,
well, maybe.
I mean, Carson himself said, like, when Julie said, why did you trust his words over Shayna's actions?
Right.
And he said, I think I got a little bit confused because I had worked with Todrick and I thought there's no way he would go that far with me because we kind of have a relationship outside of the house. So it was easy. It was low-hanging fruit, I guess, would probably be the best way to say it. But nonetheless, if he would have done that without totally trashing Shayna in the process, I would gladly have given him credit for it. But I have seen a lot of players make that move without the ugliness of it.
No, but I guess my point is he knew to make it.
Yes. Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure,
he did it
absolutely.
ham-handedly. He did it mean. He did it. It was bad, but
Right.
it was a solid game move in that situation because
Yeah.
if Misha was gone, he was next.
For sure.
No, I don't think so. I think you're wrong there. I think if he would have not
you think if Misha would have left, he would have hung in there?
Given how much Todd thought he was playing well and how Carson really thought they were friends,
That's true.
I think he could have stuck around. For the people not to see what he was doing, I think if he would have got rid of Misha right there and he would have sidled up to Cynthia and Carson, he would have made it to the end. And I think, I mean, he might still not have won, clearly, because people would have saw what he was saying still. But I think Misha wouldn't have won.
You know,
well, Misha would have been gone.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because
I think he would have been there till final three.
3 different chances they had to get her out of the house, and they never pushed it once. And I'm just going to say, as we've kind of done on Survivors in the past, as we've talked about Big Brother seasons, if you have the biggest threat in the house and you have the opportunity to get them out multiple times and you don't, it doesn't matter if you like that person or not. They automatically deserve the win. It's like the Cassandra of the whole thing. Everybody knows what kind of threat, like her second win, Cassandra was. Everyone knows how she plays. Yeah. Boston Rob, same thing. You know how he played. If you have the opportunity to get him out,
and take him out,
he wins automatically.
We finally saw, apparently, to be intelligent at Survivor, you have to be Australian, because they went, "Yeah, you're out. Goodbye. We know who you are."
It's a scary place to be.
She still lasted longer than I thought she would. Well, it's always day 16, right? So,
well, I about died when Cynthia was saying, well, Misha was a threat the second she walked in the door. I'm like, as opposed to anybody else in the house?
Yeah, exactly.
What? No, I just...
she sized her up and knew she couldn't beat her in a physical challenge. That's all. And you'd be like, I'm not, listen, all she had to do was look at her and say, I'm not beating that in a physical challenge. I'm just not.
I just think that Cynthia is... I think Cynthia, I don't think she's a mean person. I don't think she's a bad
absolutely
person
not.
at all.
I would have been fine with her winning.
She is,
whatever.
I think Cynthia is just very comfortable with whatever narration makes her not stressed.
Well, and she was ruled by emotion. That whole thing with Shayna, she never thought about it. She heard what she heard. She got pissed, and that was it. Shayna was dead to her. She wasn't going to listen to anything.
Listen, I think Todrick is a complete and utter narcissist. And the thing with narcissists that you can never, ever forget, if you've ever interacted with one, they will not stop. They will keep at you and keep at you and spin and spin. You will be dizzy. You won't know what's up and what's down by the time they're done with you.
He walked out of that house thinking he was a bad father. And you know, He's not done things to be a bad father. So why would he truly believe that he was a bad person? And
Because they will just continue to argue with you and argue until you believe what they're
Don't make
saying.
me feel bad for him. All right?
Well, just make sure you send him a Father's Day card this year. We want him to have a good Father's Day. He's a good dad.
be like, listen,
Nobody should ever do that to a person.
You're
No.
okay.
Look,
Being a
I have
parent's hard enough. We second guess ourselves so much anyway. Good parents do.
Every day.
So to get in somebody's head like that is so cruel.
I have two friends. We have been friends for 40 years. I mean, we will put each other down in the meanest, most offensive way you can imagine. I mean, to the point where I'll be like, "Hey, your wife was looking at me tonight."
Sure.
Nasty stuff like that. I would never, despite having that relationship, or
Would never
being dudes being mean, I would never say a negative word about their kids. It just certain
No.
things are sacred.
No,
That's
absolutely,
100%. You stay away. Those are two things
absolutely.
you don't do. If I want to talk
Absolutely.
about their dads, I probably would, but not their moms.
Right, dads can take it.
Yeah.
The reality is that Cynthia got duped. I don't think Cynthia is a very difficult person to dupe. I think Carson probably didn't help her see the light either, because he's, in his mind, he was like, no, trust me, I know him. He wouldn't lie to us about this.
He at least was thinking about it, because you
Right.
could tell
Honestly,
even at the end he wasn't sure.
I honestly will not be surprised if it comes out some years from now that Todrick has some sort of personality disorder. Seriously.
For real.
Because the way he kept at people, and that was like this emotional warfare, how he battled with people's brains.
Well,
that's
and I think the whole pleasant, friendly thing, let's call it episode 1 and 2 Todrick that we saw.
Yeah, when we were like, we bought into it too.
I think that's an absolute show, and I think down deep he's upset about things. He's angry.
Well,
he is
Carson, you're seeing the real Carson, right? That's who
Right.
he is every day.
And
he's
even
gonna
if
be
he's
that guy
not-
to borrow when he gets up out of in the morning.
And even if he's not, he holds that mask up 24/7. It's never going to crack. The problem with narcissists, point number 2 for Todrick being a narcissist, they have a mask that if they do not want to drop, they can't keep it up forever. It's such a mask. So as soon as they feel comfortable, that mask drops and you see what's ugly underneath.
It's because
and that's what he did.
A mask on somebody who is a TV personality but a pretty decent normal person, like for Hollywood, somebody like Carson, that mask it still mimics his real personality and his real face.
No, and I think
the narcissist, it's a completely different person.
It's a shift. Yeah, it's 180.
Let's say we were all friends with Carson and we went to dinner.
Yay!
Would you be at all surprised when he showed up in that jacket? Because that's who he is. He would show up with that big showy coat.
And we love him for it.
I would be laughed out of anywhere, right? But
my own husband has said a few times, like this season, like, God, if that just came in a different color, I would so wear it, because it's just like everything he wears is so dynamic,
Yeah. No, he's fun. He is not a boring person, and to know that he's also a genuinely nice guy.
Black and gray.
For what?
Right. And like his suit tonight, can we just talk about how every single person on that jury was dressed 10 times more beautifully than the host of the show? Come on, like she's a beautiful woman, but man, that was your finale dress. Really?
Okay, she took the puffy sleeve part off. She did what I suggested at the premiere, was make it cap sleeves. That did make it better, but this time it looked like she had on crocheted shoes too. And I don't even know. That might be too much crochet.
It was too much. It was all.
She needs to get back on The View because or The Chew or whatever. She's got too much time on her hands.
It was too much on a stage that included both Todrick Hall and Carson Kressley, and she was too much.
And Lamar's jacket was so nice. It
was gorgeous.
I loved it. My husband actually said, like, I like his jacket. Are you joking? No, I like it. It looks nice.
I thought it was beautiful. And I loved what Todrick was wearing tonight. He looked sharp. That was like...
those
I didn't like the fringies. The fringies things, not so my thing. Stupid. But the red on the black, he looks really good in that. Plus, I have been really tired of watching him wear clothing that half of it is ripped off. So it was so nice to see him in a full outfit that
Super
wasn't like
distressed.
tore up and half burnt. It was great.
I
thought he looked
thought
great.
I can't even remember what he was wearing because I was so angry at him at that point. I was
Couldn't
like,
even
just
look
get
at
him
him.
off my screen.
Cynthia's outfit was killer. I really liked her sequin suit. I really liked it. She looked really good. Yeah, I like that on her.
Teddy looked good too.
Yes.
Speaking as a dude.
She's gonna look good in an Afghan dress.
She
I
would
mean,
look
like
good in
she
a
could have a
crocheted dress.
crocheted couch dress. She's gonna look good in it.
She looked good in a crocheted dress, I think.
That's what I'm saying. She could have traded Julie's outfit, and I think that Teddy could have.
You know what? Because then it has kind of a hippie boho feel to it, and then you go like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Julie's trying to turn into a hippie.
No.
Oh, okay.
There is that one love thing.
She's
Like
just
love one
stick
another.
up her butt.
Thing.
Yeah.
Did she do that again at the end this time?
Yeah, because that's her sign off now. That like
well, I walked away before
she's
the
not
end,
picking random strange things. She found one. She sticks with it every week.
Maybe she's playing into like if CBS ever gets rid of Big Brother, she can take it over to like TBN or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe that's where it's going. You know what? I would love to see Julie have to play Big Brother. What do you think she'd do?
Well,
how do you think she'd handle it?
Now that you say that, could you imagine Probst playing Survivor? And like Jonathan going, Jeff, we're going to need you to step it up here.
That'd be amazing.
Who would yell about people dropping their balls?
No, Jeff Probst, 0% chance of winning this game. Right? That'd be amazing. Yeah.
But do you think Julie would do good? Do you think she'd like have
No, I don't think she bends or moves. It's kind of.
Do you want to know why I think she'd get far in that game? I think she'd make it to Final 3. I think she'd make it to Final 3 because whoever was on that game with her would be like, I still have to totally kiss her ass because it's Julie Chen Moonves. And she's like, somehow they're going to think she's still in charge of everything. You know? Because like, you are not going to find a bigger group of butt kissers on primetime TV than you're ever going to find on Big Brother.
They do schmooze a little bit.
I'm pretty sure it's
really
like the
weird.
first 6 paragraphs of the contracts they sign.
You think so?
I would love to go on because my first diary room thing, I'd be like, Julie, you look fine.
You look all right.
You look okay. You know, scale of 1 to 10. I mean, you know,
wear clothes. They work for you, I guess.
I'd be like, nice outfit. Yeah. Looking good, Julie.
Did somebody learn a new skill?
I never thought of a macrame dress.
That was probably Todrick's jacket with all the fringe.
The fringely.
Oh gosh.
But okay, so we gotta talk about just like a quick run through on the week. There's not really a lot that was there, but we've got some classic veto challenges. Like they always have some, new version of the sliding downhill at the specific speed.
Yep.
For a minute there, we're like, yay, Todd's gonna like get us a little bit of action in this game, and then
looking like a pro Teletubby.
Adorable.
But let me tell you, he sure could that stuff in those drinks.
Yeah, what did Lamar say? He had a booty do? He had a booty do? And then his gut stuck out more than his booty do?
He had, with those drinks, he has a very very specific palate. And if somebody from Napa Valley doesn't call him and be like, dude, come up here. We need to do Todd Bridges wine tasting, events, because seriously, he was spot on with that.
He's one of those guys who go, this wine is a hint of almond and
you know what?
And it evokes thoughts of jasmine. Like I never find that. I'm like, it tastes like Cabernet. It's better than some, not as good as others.
Not super great.
He would be like, I can taste peaches. It grows in this region. Did
you notice when Carson had his eviction, he was asking for the stage manager right away? He's like, where's Murray?
Yeah, because they're friends.
Yes. They're friends, right?
Yes, I thought that was cute.
That was great.
And also
because you've never seen anybody actually know
everyone.
Yeah.
I think
'Cause you-
Carson can just go like anywhere and immediately just make demands and ask for people and it's all good and he gets away with doing it. Isn't it funny that he was the number one like from the get-go? It wasn't Misha who was the number one like threat. Everyone was like Carson,
Oh,
Carson,
Carson, he's
Carson.
such a
Well,
threat.
because everybody
But he's
liked
so
him. He's one of those
likable.
people you meet, you like.
Right. You don't
Right.
dislike him. If you get to a dinner and there's 10 people there, you want to go sit by Carson. He's going to keep you
Yes.
entertained the whole time.
Right.
You know, he's just
Yeah, you're not
fun.
going to get to eat because you'll be busy laughing. And you can't
Right?
sleep.
He's
That's
just
true.
funny. Even
That's
tonight when
true.
he was, oh, where are my keys? Like he's
And then he
able,
goes, oh, where's my lip balm?
he is able to like just make everything just a little cuter, a little funner.
I
don't
loved
know.
the montage that we got of them, everybody in their DR sessions. That was pretty fun, where we got all of the, silliness in the diary room. And
I wasn't a big fan of the clip show.
I was actually pleased with some of the things that we got to see. Like I said, like the diary room montages and stuff. Because it's
Wearing
like, what are they
Lamar's,
going to do with this
thing,
time?
obviously.
when they wore Lamar's thing, when they got up on the shoulders and they were wearing,
That was
Yes.
hysterical.
that was very funny.
You know what
That
that
was good.
reminded me of? Did you ever watch the TV show Scrubs?
Yes.
Yes.
The world's most giant doctor. Remember they would do that, Turk and JD?
But I never thought about the fact that Lamar's calf can or whatever his whatever it is, how big it was. Yeah, of course.
Huge.
Yeah, it had to be. When he's wearing it, it just looks like, oh, that fits him. When then you see it on another person, you're like, holy moly, that's crazy. All of his clothes have to be special made.
Tall, right?
Was
What's
he
that?
that tall? I'm not sure. He's very tall. That was
Pretty tall. I can't remember what he said his height was.
It was the premiere that everyone was like, "How tall are you? How tall are you? How
Right.
tall?" That he must get so sick of answering that question.
I met Shaquille O'Neal, and it was like, how can a human being?
I'm just
be this
imagining you
large?
standing next to that like tower of a man.
Can
He
you
was the
imagine how
nicest guy in the world? He was doing a
you
thing.
have to be when you're that big and that imposing? You have to be the nicest
Yeah.
person because even if you have a little
You're
grimace,
intimidating
people are
instantly.
like, "Oh!"
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
a spokesman for Invicta, the watches,
Mhm.
and they were doing a thing, and there were people lined up forever in the mall.
Oh, did he do a personal appearance thing kind
Yeah,
of thing?
and so first thing he did is he took 4 watches and he walked down the line and picked people. I think in his judgment he felt like couldn't afford them and he gave them away.
Oh.
And then as they were going, a bunch of the city police were there to protect him,
Mhm.
and they wanted pictures. And somebody told him, and there were like 20 of them, and he sat there an extra half hour and took pictures with every single one of them, and thanked them all for their service. He was a very nice guy. Not that that has anything to do with Big Brother, but he was.
No, that's awesome. It's nice to hear, you know.
It's nice to know that he was a good guy.
Yeah.
Tis it is. That Lamar, I think that if I found out he was going to do any sort of personal appearance at my mall, I'd go stand in line.
Yeah. Oh, so Lamar and Todrick. So they're all sitting there together, or a group of them are sitting there, and Kobe Bryant comes up, and Todrick's asking Lamar all of these questions.
Yep.
Now, from Lamar's point of view, it could come across as, oh, he cares, and he's letting me talk about this thing. But don't you think?
Because it was sort of like a little clipper's like, okay, so what are they going to just keep trying to give Todrick this, like, he's a great guy reel? Like,
but we know that Todrick was just asking those questions because he's gossipy, right?
Yes.
Well, no, and I'm sure Lamar Odom gets that every day. What was Kobe really like,
I wouldn't ask him that.
I mean, anybody who ever played with Michael Jordan gets that question, right?
Sure.
So,
poor Scottie Pippen.
And Kobe now having, passed away as sadly as he did.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't imagine he goes anywhere without getting that question.
I'm sure he gets. I'm sure.
How tall are you? What was Kobe like? Yeah, that's probably it.
Well, but I think I could be wrong, but I want to say, going back to feeds, I think that the conversation came up organically because he had a dream about Kobe.
And hadn't it just been like the anniversary while they were in it?
Right, Lamar had a dream about him,
Mhm.
and that's how they started talking
Because he was
about it.
thinking like, oh, it's the day, the anniversary of his death kind of thing.
Right, and then I think that's probably how Todrick got into the little
I'm just telling you, though, Todrick really was able to put that. They all thought that he cared about them.
Yeah. Do you think he cares about Misha?
No more than he cares about anyone else.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. When she said like I can't wait to go to each other's weddings. Like my initial thought was like,
You're gonna be waiting a long time for him.
But you won't be going to each other's weddings because I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Her children are adorable, and her husband is the cutie patootie, and I'm sure her wedding will be grand without Todrick there.
It will be interesting to see if she tweets anything after she gets to see everything. If she doesn't.
I don't know how much of it she saw.
Well, she hasn't seen any as of tonight. But
she really didn't see the Chris Kirkpatrick thing. They were in a room alone.
Right.
You're in what I call the pantry room.
And
but
if Todrick went back
but he did turn around and he repeated the story to Cynthia and bragged about how awful he made Chris feel, and then to Misha, like she heard a lot of what he said because he turned around and told her and was like, "Ha, I'm the best."
Yeah, but that really makes me wonder. Hearing the secondhand is less shocking than seeing it. You told me it happened, Jamie.
And you always assume people are embellishing a little bit.
Stomach a lot more than hearing about it.
Yeah.
And when you see the reaction and the body language and the look on the other person's face, that's going to trigger a lot more for you than what the story itself will.
I mean, you even texted. You said you're going to feel bad for Chris Kirkpatrick. I'm like,
get ready.
Ever.
And I'm no. Like, and then you're like,
oh.
It's going to happen a little bit.
It was total dad sympathy, man.
Yeah. Yep. It's not cool.
Because I got to tell you, if it was me, I probably would have gotten thrown out because I'd have probably punched him in the nose.
I think a lot of people would have. I think that
I'd be like, dude, you know what? You just crossed the line, and you're going to have to man up.
Yeah, I think there's a good handful of people that would have reacted quite harshly.
He saw exactly the button on him that he could push.
Yep.
And he pushed it.
Yep.
He pushed it.
And another thing with Misha too is that there was a lot of conversations she had on the feeds that she doesn't trust girls and she didn't want to work with girls. I mean, she was very specific about not trusting girls. And then her end speech today when she's like, I just want to show my daughter that a girl can do it. And it's like, oh, you people are all nuts. You're all nuts.
She doesn't trust girls. Meanwhile, there's not a single person in that house that wasn't afraid watching how she was punching that stuff on the ground.
My experience in life is girls are more awful to other girls than any dude is to women.
It does tend to happen that way.
I don't know why that is, but women don't tend to support each other in a big way.
I think that is changing. I think that's definitely,
but a lot don't.
Right.
And I think
on a wider scale, I think that is, especially in the last 10, 15 years, I really think there's been a lot of pushing for that idea or that behavior or instinct to fall away a little bit and to thanks, Moana.
Well, no, I think there's been a lot of
Moana's good on that. We got Frozen and Moana like really teaching the sisterhood to the little ones, and
I think they got
the question that was after my kid was older, so
they got the information out there to women of why are we doing this to ourselves? Right. Why would we do this to ourselves?
Yep.
Like, who are we helping here? Nobody. So don't, we turn around and part of it is age too. I think you get to a certain age too where you don't want to do that. So you're catty when you're younger and insecure, and as you get older, who cares? And then you can have real friendships that are not catty.
Yeah.
But Todd,
Todd. Look at Todd.
38-year-old, and he is super catty, or 36, whatever he is.
But if you look at like Todd, you look at Lamar, you look at Chris Kirkpatrick. I'm going through all the males in the house, like Carson and Catan.
Technical difficulties.
Is there a flood?
He's going to disappear. If you look at all of the guys that we have cast this season, I feel like every single one of them, since they are celebrities, we've seen some things about them when they were younger, at least heard some notorious things about them when they were younger. You can tell that the age is rounded them out.
Yeah,
I think
they're
that some
wiser.
of them, had they been in there when they were younger,
Yeah.
would be not the best. They wouldn't
Mhm.
be like cool, calm, collected, kind.
Not at all. You're
So
right. Not at all.
age definitely did come
And
into
now,
play.
and now they have the wisdom to know that all that didn't matter. So yeah, because I think that helped this season because you did have so many like 40 and over people.
Yeah, and I loved it. Like
I
loved
did
having
too.
the older people in there. I have nothing wrong with having a few younger people in there either.
Sure.
But one of the things that has really been dragging me down with a lot of our Big Brother seasons has been having this like ultra young cast and one older person.
Yes.
And then the one older person is just for easy pickings the first week. That's all they're there for.
Or they just carry them along until they have to cut them.
Yeah, and I don't
I got
don't like
feelings
it.
about ageism on
Yeah.
Reality shows.
reality
Well,
shows.
we
There's no
didn't
question.
20 years ago when we were watching them because they were our age. But now,
But it's the only
Right?
ism that's allowed anymore.
Yeah.
well, to be fair, there aren't a lot of people over a certain age that physically would look at a show like Survivor and say, yes, I could do
I'm
that.
gonna do that.
But
Right.
they could do a season. They could do a season 45 and up. And
But
people
would they
watch
get
it.
enough people that wanted to play is what I'm saying.
Sure.
There's
they
always those
probably
crazy
would.
people who've had 57 different careers that want to go out there, right?
And you
I
could
think a lot
certainly
of
do
the
a Big
people-
Brother season. Why do they don't do 2 a year? Do you know, Jamie?
It's just the longevity. It's just how long production
I
is.
just think between the live feeds and everything,
Yeah.
they have to give it all over to. I mean, Survivor's really their bread and butter, right?
And
So,
if they had it 2 seasons, they would almost start cannibalizing each other because people would get sick of it. They go, I just did the live feed for the last one. I'm going to take
I
a
mean,
break.
okay,
I think it's
like
keeping it
I
once a year
love-
makes it more of an event.
I love Big Brother. It's something I look forward to every single year. This is the first year that I've actually sat and watched every episode of Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because I never liked it that much. I didn't really like the format. I didn't like the people they'd have in it quite often. So I just kind of lost interest really quickly. And this was a month long and there was things that I really was entertained about. But like this last week with an episode every night, I'm like, oh y'all, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and
'cause
honestly, when the people that are really entertaining to watch on live feeds, when they go, like half the fun goes with them. It's just how it is.
You know what
So-
I got annoyed with? When they would be voting or talking about who they were going to vote for, they would say, I just can't let this person be here another week. What are you talking about? You guys are voting again in 2 days. This is like supersonic.
Like y'all gonna do this
You're
again
gonna-
tomorrow.
yeah,
Like
you're
you
not
got
gonna
one
be here
dinner
another
to get
week.
through, dude. One dinner.
Yeah, you can handle it. It's not a week. Stop saying a week. Gosh.
I totally
Also,
feel what
also when she said like, oh, a big surprise, this is gonna be a double eviction, and Lamar like totally pulls down the curtain and is like,
Oh,
oh
they
yeah,
knew. They
yeah,
were
they
talking about
told us that it was gonna be a double eviction. And then she goes and she's like goes to the crew in the house and then she's all like, yes, it is in fact a double eviction. And they all go, oh my gosh. And when moments like that happen, I'm just like, you guys have been doing this for 23 and a half seasons now, like whatever, how millions of hours of this, can you let it go? We all know that they know when they're going to be evicted.
Well,
they're-
to be fair, if Lamar had been in, he wouldn't have known. Even if they told him, he still wouldn't have known.
You're like, oh wait, we're going to do
people are like,
something.
what's an eviction?
What?
We do
2
this
in a
again?
How would we do
Is
a
that when the
double one?
people
Does that
go away?
mean wait, the double eviction, does that mean both people on the block go home at the same time? We don't vote? Like what's a double? Yeah, he would not.
I certainly feel what you're saying about the too many episodes, though, because
Yeah.
Monday evening I watched, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just want to watch Australian Survivor. Why am I watching this?
Just want to jump into this other
Yeah,
game.
for anybody
I
out
had
there
to
who
wait till
hasn't, check it
Tuesday.
out. Season 9, Australian Survivor. It's pretty legit.
The BS.
It's a-
But all in all, I'm glad that
Oh,
I'm
jeez.
still glad that I watched it.
Okay,
mean,
I
it
am
was
too.
fun. You
Thanks
got
for watching.
invested.
Yeah, I had moments that I was like really angry and
Oh,
really
moments. There was like
Yeah.
48 hours where you were spitting nails.
She was
You guys,
unconsolable.
it was
like,
a bad week in general because it was a bad week in Big Brother. It was a bad week in Survivor. I was like, there's no place to rejoice. this stinks. But
No,
then it was okay.
Australia. You could rejoice in Australia.
It's very sad when people that you feel like don't deserve to be treated a certain way get treated a certain way.
I can't. I can't. Yeah.
It's not fair. The way Shayna got treated was not fair. We talked about it.
When I see people I like or whatever, or I'm okay with, and then they get voted out, it's like, that's a bummer, right? Okay, but then you move on. But when you are seeing it go down as it was going down, and you can't do anything to stop I mean, I hate to overuse the term bullying, but in this case, it was pretty much bullying.
It was
and
100%.
she's sure salty about it, isn't she?
Well, they 100% gaslit the entire week or 3 days.
Right.
You know, so
and they insulted
that makes you angry.
She was insulted on literally every single level. And remember, she had the personal stuff going on at home too that came down at the same exact time.
Right. Not that she knew about it until she walked out the door, but
until she walked out the door. But I mean, they attacked her game.
How did that go down, by the way?
They attacked her integrity. They attacked the way she dressed. They attacked her career. They attacked her relationships. They attacked her relationship with her children and her ex. I mean, like, there wasn't a single speck.
When you say they,
it was more than just Todrick.
Yeah, it was Todrick.
It was more than just Todrick. Todd even himself, he even admitted to it. And Carson's like, I'm really sorry. You know how he apologized to her.
He really believed that she had backstabbed him.
Right. And I'm really sorry that I said things about what you were wearing, and that was not okay. And I mean, because he apologized to her before the apology.
And but you know what? That takes a man right there too.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that shows integrity and I'm really proud of Carson. Not only did I like him and think he was, but when he sees that he makes a mistake, he completely owned it.
And Todd did too. Todd immediately was like, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that I was joining in on this, and I feel so awful about it.
I was super impressed with Todd this season, and I'm really glad that he's kind of broken the bad negativity that kind of followed him around a lot of years. And I hope he gets some work, and I hope we can see him.
Do you think he gets some work out of it? That was
I really hope so. I really hope so. There are a lot of shows on right now with people of color casts, like full casts. Hey, give him a call, get him on there. Come on now.
His family is pretty adorable. Like his kids look so much like him. It's like hilarious. There is no mistake in those kids. Like
so
for anyone else.
Nerdy, and I love how nerdy he is. Right?
Yep. Yep.
Did you like when he was being interviewed by Julie? And at the end, what you talking about, Julie?
Yeah, that was cute. And then I was thinking about that. I was like, you know what? I bet for actors like him who have that catchphrase, like that phrase that they probably tried to run away from for many years.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it's like saying that phrase with like him saying that phrase to Julie with her name in it was like the equivalent of giving her an autograph.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like she was so tickled that he had said it. Like he was genuinely like, "Oh my god!"
And it was perfect timing too. It was right.
The funny part is, it wasn't even his phrase. It was
exactly.
Phrase.
Yep.
But
it had his character's name in it, so it became you know.
Now I don't know if you all can see the chat, but I've been called out in the chat. My youngest son, there it is. Wants everyone to know that he predicted the winner of Celebrity Big Brother the first episode, and I'm here to attest that.
Good job, Alex.
He did. I would like to, and I'm only curious as to why Misha was his prediction from the get-go. What did he just? Based on what? Maybe we need to learn here so that we'll then know the secret of picking the person.
Certainly not me. Certainly don't turn to me for this.
Right. I would also like to point out that for the first time on this podcast, have gotten his age right the first time.
Oh, finally. Good. I don't have to talk about how bad of a dad you are.
No, your dad just wants to make you younger so you can.
Please don't Chris Kirkpatrick me.
He just wants to make sure everyone think you're younger so he can continue to claim you longer on his taxes. That's all. Every parent does it. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally normal.
Stick around longer.
Totally normal.
He has tied your record So
That's
yeah,
right,
you're
because
gonna
I
have
had
to
Xavier.
you're gonna have to you're gonna have to lay down your bets now. It was really great. Xavier's been pretty quiet on the Twitter feed with this celebrity
Because
Big
he's
Brother,
like an attorney and stuff. And
right. But the other night he did finally like pop in and say something. It was right after Todd had the veto, took himself down, but then it was like on Lamar's eviction. And Xavier's like, damn, so this is what this feels like on the other side. Like, I'm sorry, everybody.
Aww.
Because
I
getting
wish
to
I
see your
had his
favorite player have to go, and like it was cute. It was the right time to pop in with something.
Xavier. I hope they bring him back on a All-Star season or something, because I gotta say, one thing about the guy is I just wish I had his self-control, because that man knows when to shut the hell up.
Yeah, he
And
was
he just
really,
shuts
really
up
good at
and
sitting and observing things. That was
listens,
his
and people
highest
want to
quality, I
talk to
think,
him, and he
in the
nods.
game. Yeah. And his ability to be like, guys, like, let's just calm down.
But
Let's
think
just
about
calm
it.
down.
Think about it. He has been. Are you talking about Todd, right?
No,
No,
we're talking
Xavier.
about Xavier.
Oh, Xavier. Sorry,
hmm
I got lost there for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know that he'd get to come back on an All-Stars. I mean, he could, but usually they only have like one winner, like previous winner on a cast of All-Stars.
I think his game would be.
You know
I
who
think
they
people would
bring
be
back?
on to him. He would be voted out early because he is so dangerous now. And when you see everything the way we saw it, you have to go like everyone's going to like him. He's going to win things. He has to go like.
Right, and he
smart.
can win things. He can't, he wouldn't be able to
Yes.
do the lay back till the final seven before
No,
he
not
starts
he's
doing
just
everything.
and he's just too smart, like he was playing chess when they were playing checkers.
Right.
Look at that.
Yep. There it
Who
is.
says that all the time? I don't know. They always said that on Big Brother, it seemed like. Anyway,
Always.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
This
it was
season
fun.
included.
quick,
It came in
fast.
this season too, but I don't
Oh,
remember.
did it?
Mhm.
But so I think it's funny when they say that in a situation when it's not real. So anyway.
Can we talk about one last thing too? That Todd left a dirty sock in the diary room.
Yes. Yes. But
I just thought about who
he
sat
just
left
beside
forgot
the
about it.
fingernails in the diary room.
think
I'm
that's
pretty
worse.
sure that the nails were probably Lamar's that he chewed off when he was
They were
voting
absolutely
the night
Lamar's.
before.
And then Lamar sees him and says, "Are those Nate fingernails?" It's like, "Yes, dude, they're yours. Don't you
They're
remember?"
So
yours.
he's like he smelt what he dealt and was trying to defer.
Maybe he legit did not remember that they were his.
That was
Ooh,
great.
wow. The problem with Lamar and his gas is that wherever he lets it out, it's in the smell line of everybody else. It's like right in your face. That's why.
Yeah, because he's
If
like
he was shorter,
he's average people.
The most giant guy when they started,
No.
I just am so glad he had as much gas as he did when he was attached to Todrick for 24 hours. Like, I live for that. That's if you're gonna have it, that's the time. That's the time.
Hey, can you imagine being tethered to somebody and they're in the lavatory for a long time, so you know what they're doing, and you're just like, and I'm tied to this person,
right? Well, they got to experience all sorts of closeness.
Now,
and
if
you know
you're
what?
tied to the person,
Lamar
and the
would
dude
probably
walks out of the bathroom and doesn't wash his hands, you're entitled to correct him.
Yeah, no, stop. You ain't going. You come wash your hands. With soap, thank you very much. Ugh. Yeah, that wouldn't have been very fun. I really wish in Celebrity Big Brother they don't do it, but I really wish they would do the thing where you have to climb around in the dark where it's really messy and gross and sticky. You know what I'm talking about? But they don't ever do that one.
You see, my favorite, I wish they do it in Celebrity, is where they trash the house.
I know. I kind of would have loved that.
Well, they kind of did their version, but they did the cleaner version of figure out which one was wrong. Like they had to run in the house and run back out, run back in. It was
no, but I'm saying where they just trash it to try to find the stuff.
Yeah,
they have to hide they have to hide the thing for the veto.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'm just imagining that Lamar would instantly win that because he can put that thing up where nobody could get to it.
It's like
yeah, you just have to set it up.
It's on top of the mic that no one else can reach.
Right.
And I thought Lamar was going to win that one for a little bit.
Yeah. He was so close. He was so close.
Yeah, he just he would see it and then he would keep playing to make sure that was the one. It's like, Oh, if you would have just locked that
Lamar
in.
was my pleasant surprise of the season. I'll say it again.
Yep.
I
Yep.
just,
Yeah.
I actually
really
was kind of
hope-
check myself because I went, you know what? You went into that with a preconceived notion of who he
Right.
was, and you were wrong.
Right.
So,
So-
I think it's good to see that sometimes.
So that can be one of our 10 great things we take away from this season,
Absolutely.
right?
Do we have a top 10?
Yep.
Well, it was
I
always top 10 things
I
we
don't
hate,
have I
we
don't
can
have a top 10 myself, but I have just one thing, and I just figured everybody should contribute what favorite
Yeah,
things
yeah.
they had.
Okay, well, I'll throw out Lamar, so that's fine.
Yeah.
My
Great.
first
Just
one. I got
everything
one.
about Lamar. What a nice surprise. What a breath of fresh air Lamar was, right?
And
Absolutely. And my fingers are so crossed that he watches the next Big Brother season and that he becomes an actual fan
super
of the
fan.
show. I would love it. I would love it
You can
so
see
much.
him evolve in real
like
time.
2 years from now and do all the strategy.
Oh my God. I
yeah.
would just love for
He's
him to
geeking
get
out over
into the
Dan
show,
Kinsley.
you know?
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great. All of a sudden now he's fanning over Janelle.
Yes, like showing up. Oh,
Yeah.
can you imagine someday when we get to actually have a live audience again on evictions? I miss that so much. Like when they get evicted and they have the live
just for the
audience
cheer.
there. And yeah. And
Or maybe
because
they
that
get
was
some
like
booze.
there was a lot of conversation that would happen when certain people would get evicted based off of how loud the cheer or how quiet the crowd was.
Yep.
It would give the people in the house a little
Like some
idea of
feedback.
what.
Mhm.
Right.
But also give
Exactly.
the Twitter people something to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I do miss that. Also, there's just something really satisfying on a finale when you get to see the people see their family members.
Yeah.
I miss that. Not just up on a screen, but actually get to see them there and stuff. It's always a good way to wrap things up. So I'm kind of done with the whole Julie doesn't hug anybody until finale night.
Yeah, stop telling people. Would you stop telling us every time and reminding us that you're so weird? Just stop.
Can you please stop being so damn weird?
No, be weird, but stop reminding us how weird you are. You're being weird is how
Could you imagine our dinner, the three of us with Carson and Julie?
Oh, I'd die.
Oh.
I'd have 5 asthma
Julie
attacks
just
from
be
laughing.
Well, first of
whole
all,
time.
there'd be oh my gosh, you know who's a great designer, Carson? Christian Dior. Oh my gosh, so amazing.
Way better than Mon
Julie,
Wall.
what do you think?
Yep, we would. And then we'd be like, Carson, do the thing. And then he'd go. We'd be like, yes.
No, I like it when he talked about how his forehead doesn't move.
Doesn't move. Yep.
Doesn't move. Oh no, he's hilarious. And he better get something because Ellen's leaving, right? Is she already done? Is Ellen gone already? Maybe
I knew she was wrapping it up. I didn't know if she was done
maybe
yet or
I
not.
don't
be
think
the
she had
new
a choice.
Ellen.
I think her staff was rebelling.
Yeah. But maybe he could be the new Ellen, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, he could have his own
show.
Yeah, he could have his own show.
He would get up and do show numbers and sing, and he'd go and dance with the audience. Give it to Carson.
Give it to him. And all of his awesome jackets.
Yeah.
I love that he wears so many smoking jackets, but yet doesn't smoke.
Right.
I enjoy that.
He strikes me as somebody who might light up a cigarette now and again.
Maybe he did when he was
But it's in one of those long black cigarette holders.
Yeah, like a cigarette holder. Yes.
Why
Maybe
not?
it's a clove.
As you can be.
Could be a clove.
It would probably be a clove, yeah.
Probably
He wouldn't want to smell bad.
The cloves, it gives you that taste on your lip. It's like,
it's like Christmas. It's like a little bit of Christmas.
It's like a latte. Oh gosh. So yeah, Todd Bridges in his Teletubby suit. That was
awesome.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, that is my number one thing. That is my number one best damn takeaway.
Make a meme out of that.
What about
50 already.
From the entire series.
What about Todd Bridges' tattoo? Futuristic.
That thing is awesome.
That's pretty freaking good too. Okay.
And when you know that that's underneath that golden Christmas,
wouldn't it be great if they would have cut it out so the tattoo would have
like a clear patch?
So you don't distract.
Or made a patch that was the tattoo.
Oh my god!
And the outfit is awesome enough just on its own. But when you partner that with his veto walk, that was it. That was the highlight right there of the season.
Well, the funny part is like Misha looked good in it.
Yeah, she was all like, I just do this for a living, whatever. Swoop.
Carson's diary room sessions, 100%.
Yeah.
We had to come up with 10. We're 10.
They were so good.
What else?
And that's really what CBS wants people to do, but they're not capable of.
Chris Kattan sleeping, eating the cake.
Yeah, the cake eating is fantastic.
Right? That was fantastic. And him,
yep.
And him trying to get Todd Bridges to stop snoring. That was pretty great too.
Oh my God, yeah.
And him falling in the room.
Well, Lamar
the dangerous room. Even Lamar fell in it. And
Lamar
by the way,
fell too. He's got a lot longer to fall too. That's
when you were asking about the weird glasses the other day. That's the thing, because they can't turn off the lights during the day to sleep. I don't know why she wears them when she was playing.
Wears them all the time.
Maybe she gets migraines. I don't know.
Maybe it's something like that. Like the fluorescence just over time, or they're just too harsh. Okay, that could be it. Yeah. That makes a little more sense. But why don't they say something? I don't know. It's just weird. She's got like this visor, like she's.
I know. Like, just look at the camera and be like, "Listen, I know I look stupid, but I get migraines. And then just go back to playing cards. It's fine."
Like you're not playing poker. You're literally playing against yourself. Like
Vanessa's like an actual professional poker player, and she didn't walk around with weird symptoms all the time.
She knew that there were other people that played against her.
I think the number one memory has to be Julie's crochet dress.
Oh, that red beast of burden.
Yeah, red one. She went from red to black. Now I will say, given the choice between the two, the one tonight was 1,000 times better.
It was an improvement.
And the one, so the one she had on tonight was absolutely crocheted. I know exactly what stitch that is, and I can totally do that stitch. I've done blankets with that stitch.
Is it the shell stitch? It looked like the stitch.
No, it was not. It was a corner to corner stitch.
Now, Christy, I need a blanket, so you got a lot of time before Christmas.
You are getting a blanket. You're going to get the dress.
Listen, I will do the work. You buy the yarn. Send me the yarn, and I'll do it up.
I'll whip it up.
So yeah, that tonight wasn't even that bad. Tonight's was like, okay.
You know what? I feel like tonight's it was her way of saying, remember when?
Yeah. Remember when you know what? Maybe she wore the first one so horrible. So that when she wore the one tonight, we went, okay, it's all right. Because
I think that might be it.
Distracting, right? She really wanted tonight's to sell.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm going to wear a hideous one, and then they'll appreciate it.
I mean, like, everyone was talking about that first one, so I got to give her, like, the designer that. I don't think there was a lot of nice things being said, but man, it was.
But she has, in the last couple episodes, really worn some really stunning outfits. And then for the finale, she goes back to the crochet. And maybe that's her laughing at herself or laughing at us, or I don't know.
Did you notice that? Like, there was
I don't think she's capable of laughing at herself.
Maybe her person who styles her stylist was laughing with us. Maybe I don't know.
You know another really great thing about this season, and here's the thing: next line of Big Brother world, Chris, you're gonna have to spend a little bit more time on the Twitter because of this. Like half of the Survivor season from 41 has really gotten into this season of Celebrity Big Brother, and it has been hilarious.
Yep, it's
to watch your reactions. Like, it's been so great. Like Ricard tonight going when Misha won that final.
Well, and he was
I want to see Ricard on Big Brother.
Right in what he said.
Yeah, and Ricard goes,
would be amazing on Big
vote
Brother.
Todrick out. Do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
No, he should be on Big Brother. That would be great. Let's have a season of Big Brother with former Survivor contestants.
Ricard, Boston Rob. Imagine Boston Rob on Big Brother.
Come on, CBS. You love to roll these fan favorites out.
That was a rumor on this season that Boston Rob had been asked to be on it. And
make the whole season everybody former Survivor fans.
Chris Kirkpatrick was really, really scared.
You think Richard Hatch to do it? He could run around Big Brother house naked the whole time.
Kirkpatrick had heard that Boston Rob was maybe going to be on it, and it scared the bejesus out of him. He said he didn't sleep for 3 days before he entered the Big Brother house because he had heard that Boston Rob was going to be on, and he was so
Boston
scared.
Rob wouldn't do celebrity. He would.
He
If
was
he,
so
if he
scared
was
to
going
have
to
to
play,
play.
he wants to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
I
wants
would
he's all in.
have to agree.
3 months. Let's do this.
Right?
That's what I think.
Gonna do
Survivor.
it.
I think
Well,
CBS.
could you imagine Sandra in the Big Brother house?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
For all of these people, I think it would be
Yep.
an amazing idea if Big Brother did that. Why not? Why
I
not?
would love it. I would love it so much because we've had Big Brother players do well on Survivor, like Hayden. He did really well in his
And
season.
then Julie could even like be all cheeky and be like at the end of the interview, "Sorry, I got nothing for you."
Enjoy your night off.
I think that would be a winner cast, and I think no matter how they do it, and they would get so many crossover viewers because there actually are people who watch Survivor and don't watch Big Brother. So I think it'd be a lot of fun.
There's a lot of people that try out for Survivor and end up on Big Brother.
Yeah.
It tends to happen.
And
there's a couple that were going for Survivor and got pulled onto Big Brother. Some bigger names.
Of the two, I could probably play Big Brother. I could never play Survivor. I wouldn't make it 2 days.
You know, once upon a time we could have, but now at this point, no.
I don't think I could
go hang out in the house.
Sure. My kids asked me just recently, Mom, if you could be on any, because they know I watch a lot of reality TV. Sure. If you could be on any of these, which would you rather be on? And I said, honestly, Amazing Race, probably. Because I feel like...
I think you would do great on
Really?
I picked the
really
wrong season to start watching it, I think.
Oh, no. I think
this season is representative of Amazing Race. You guys can have it.
No. I'm saying as a game. As the game goes. As a game, I could do that. I could do the things on Amazing Race.
People have gotten along really well on this Amazing Race, and it's sort of disappointing.
This Amazing Race, Jamie made me watch it because I didn't watch it.
It's much more fun when the teams aren't quite so copacetic. There's been a lot of teams that work together this year.
If you haven't seen Log Hill Roll Challenge, you don't know what you're missing. That is the amazing.
Look, I'm not saying there haven't been great seasons of Amazing Race. All I'm saying is I watch this damn show for an hour, and at the end they go, "But this is a non-elimination week."
There's not going to be any more of those. You're fine. There's not going to be any more.
Watch?
It's a scheduling riff. It's a scheduling riff. I think they were like, "Oh crap, we have this guy like this, and we have to reschedule this, and we got to keep him on for another 2 days."
Yeah,
I get it, but it just feels like a ripoff every time they do it.
Well,
usually you get what? There's usually 2 an entire season.
Yeah,
why can't they do it like the Tour de France, where it's like, okay, you're 7 minutes and 8 seconds off the lead, so you have to wait that long before you go. Why don't they just like make up this arbitrary 15 minutes and we'll put you in groups?
They used to do it like that. The time you checked in, how they let you go the next day. Yeah. So if you came in first and the next person behind you was 2 minutes behind you, you got to leave the next morning. They went 2 minutes after you, and then so on and so on.
And sometimes that was enough to make you completely miss a flight for another 5 hours to the next day.
Yeah,
but I think because of COVID restrictions, they can't.
I think this year was they have to really.
Right, so I'm going to give it another chance because, like I said, I think that this has not been a representative year of the show.
Do they have any seasons that are streaming anywhere? I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't actually even looked at Paramount Plus to see if they have
you might like to go back and watch the season where Brendan and Rachel were on, or watch.
That was actually really a great season. Or watch Rupert totally suck at it.
Rupert and his wife. Just watch a different season pre-COVID when they used to, you might like it. It's got a lot. It's a show that usually has a lot of heart.
Yes. And when you have two teams that really don't like each other, it's really fun to watch them sabotage each other. No one tries to help each other.
And they're all like...
No, it's when they U-turn. The people who we're such a great team, our biggest competitor there, they get there first, they U-turn me. Now I have the gall to be mad at them for U-turning me. When I was just said 5 minutes ago on the show that if I had the chance, I was U-turning them if I got there first.
Yep.
Take a break. It's ridiculous sometimes how people get bent out of shape.
Like the Riley sisters and Nicole Franzel. Oh, that was
yeah. There's been Jeff and Jordan were on there too, weren't they?
I think so. Well, Rob and Amber were on there.
Oh, yep. See, you would. Listen, David, seriously, you would like
Well,
some of
no,
the
I get it. It doesn't
You're right.
feel. It all feels off this year
Well,
with it.
this season
I
I won't
can't entirely disagree.
I don't
I
I
feel
mean
it too. It's a
I
little
know
vanilla.
I know the game from before, so I kind of know how it goes. So yes, but I still can
Seriously,
infer
they
into
made eating maggots boring.
I just skipped through that. Can I be
And
honest?
they're all
When
just
it's
like,
like
oh
eating
yeah, I'll eat
stuff,
the
I just
maggots.
Amy goes,
fast
Christy will
forward.
do this one. The
just-
problem is that so often they don't know what they are when they choose the challenge.
Right. That's the scary part, right?
And I always
Oh, I
think,
get it. I get it's like the
and
movie prize.
I do think it would be fair for someone to say, I'm going to do this challenge, and for them to go and they go, oh no, never mind, and be able to go and switch and start over, but switch partners, because they're still going to get to that situation where one person's done more challenges than the other, and then they can't switch. So I think that should be allowed. So if you got in that it was like, I can't do this, maybe you take a 5-minute penalty or something.
Yeah, tag out.
And then you switch out.
Well, that's like
No,
when they
you
did
do
that bungee jump. I just sort of went, if that was me, I'd be like laying there going, I'm not doing it. So
Yeah.
That's why you guys need to take me with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able.
Christy'd be like, bye.
Like I said, they'd have to push me. I'd look at the guy and be like, okay, I'm going to count to 3 and you just push me off because I literally can't unlock my knees right now. I'm just.
But then, like with the stair thing, I would have said to my wife, you just go and feed me the bottles and I'll run them up the stairs because I can run the stairs all day.
Really? Can you? Okay.
And
Good,
she would only have to go up once and it would have been,
David's got thighs of steel. They're made.
While you're running up, I'll just drink one here. They'll be easier for you to carry. They didn't say they have
no one thought about that.
It's lighter. So yeah, we should definitely. I don't know who we need to talk to make this happen, but if people listen to us, it would be really fun to watch.
Why don't they do Amazing Race? They did one season of Amazing Race where it was families and there was like groups of 4 families.
I remember that. I don't think I watched the season, but I remember it.
They didn't do it again. But I think it'd be interesting. Maybe they do teams of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Amazing Race. You can have us.
Do you know what one of the best seasons was? Was when they went to go play single games and they got partnered up with people they didn't know.
That one was that's the season you should watch.
That was
they were all individuals,
right?
And it was literally like a schoolyard pick, wasn't it?
Yep.
They all ran one.
They
ran the
some
first
of them
challenge.
They became like lifelong friends. Like
okay, so here's how they did it, David. They all showed up. They had one challenge where everyone was an individual player, and then the winner of that challenge, as they came in and finished, then got to pick who they wanted to team up with. So the person who came in first got to make a pick. Person who came in second got to pick next.
That would be so much cooler than this.
It was very cool.
It was really fun. And they've come back. Some of them have come back for other seasons because it was a really popular season.
The 2 band kids, the guy and girl, love them.
Fun.
Team
the best moment on Amazing Race this season was Donald, where's your trousers? It's still in my head.
It's a great.
I can't get it out.
Well, now we all know how you say that that word with a Scottish accent.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. So we're in Scotland. Not that I say trousers often, but
maybe CBS needs to do a swap where they have like people from The Amazing Race and Survivor come into Big Brother and people. You know what I mean? Like where they.
Yeah, because Big Brother's gone and done those shows.
Yeah.
And honestly, those guys, the way they run around and the way they have to like fight for survival on Survivor just to eat and whatever. Yep. If they said, hey, how about you want to come in this house for 3 months and play games and eat and hang out and lay around? They'd be like,
no, that's the place that Jeff always threatened I would go if I didn't behave.
Rob, who's getting on 50, he can go hang out in the Big Brother house. He probably can't swim and do all that stuff.
Absolutely. A lot of them. A lot of them could. I think it'd be amazing.
I would love it.
Come on, CBS, get on that. Write that down. Do it.
Could you imagine Tony in the Big Brother house?
Oh my God.
He'd have like
piles of laundry he'd lay under. Make piles of laundry and create a spy nest.
You'd be like, you do not need to hide in here, okay? You're supposed to. There's no hidden immunity idols, dude.
There's no idols, man.
You do not have to. He'd be trying to spy on people like, Tony's behind the couch again, isn't he? Yep.
Or like Ty. Ty would be fun in there too.
No, wouldn't that be funny if they released a rumor in the house that there was a hidden immunity idol, even though there wasn't?
I would do it.
Who was it? Who was it the one year that was hiding behind the couch spying on people? Somebody did do that.
Yeah, I remember.
There's been, I don't know, I get it kind of mixed because there's so many times where people hide.
But that would be.
Mostly to mess with
I'm just
each
gonna
other.
hang out here all day long.
I'm just gonna hang out here. Well, like Andy's big move was always he would leave things that belonged to him in every room of the house.
So
So
can
he
go
would
shower
always
and
have
go
an
in
excuse to
Oh,
enter the
so
room.
smart. I wouldn't have thought of that. My daughter said to me this week, she says, why are they always whispering? I go, because they don't want people to hear what they're saying. But don't they know that we all can hear them? I'm like, it's not us. They don't want us to hear.
Yeah, they don't care
They're
about us.
players. She's like, you think they can really hear? They have the door shut. I said, yes, they can. They go up and listen and eavesdrop all the time. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah.
Did you see where they had him up in the nest? You know where they always play chess?
Yeah.
Like up on the top of the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sitting up there, if you're whispering and you're down in the kitchen, like you can hear everything. Like the acoustics is that it comes right down into the kitchen.
It's like the perfect arc.
Yeah, so they kept having like Lamar go up there. They were testing it to see like because they caught on to that they could hear each other in there. Which is funny because I'm thinking back over all the years, how many conversations did we see happen like over that chessboard that's like right in front of the HOH room?
Right.
Like,
if we're gonna go on Big Brother, both of you study up on ASL, and we'll just go in there. No one will know what we're saying.
Right?
Okay?
Oh my gosh, that's actually a thing. Hold on, that's actually a thing. At one point, Todrick was doing sign language over to Misha, and they showed it on Twitter, and they're like, wait a minute. And Dick Donato was like, that's against the rules. That is like in the rules that you cannot do sign language.
Right.
Yep.
Can you speak another language, a foreign language?
I don't know. I would assume
Like if I went in there and there was another person who spoke Spanish, could I speak Spanish to them in front of everybody? I mean, obviously it would not make me friends because they'd be like, what are you guys talking about?
Right, you're clearly talking about me.
But
right?
Could you?
I don't know. I didn't even think of that. Well, Big Brother Canada is dropping. They dropped their cast list today as the finale was happening for Celebrity Big Brother 23. Everyone's attention was like switching over to Big Brother Canada. I don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I do know where we can watch it, like on a live stream, but they do have all the previous seasons.
Yeah.
They have all the previous seasons of Canada up on, or many of the previous seasons of Big Brother Canada on the Paramount Plus because they had to do something quickly to replace all of the Australian survivors they ripped out of people's hands.
Of subscribers over that.
Good.
Yeah, that made for some.
Figure it out. Figure it out, CBS.
Get it together, Paramount. Plus whatever other company you are now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the older ones are on there. If you want to check it out, I can tell you that the house is always a lot cooler looking than the US
in Canada
version. Really? Mm-hmm.
Do they still have the circular staircase?
No, theirs is like they've literally changed the entire setup of the house every season.
Cool.
Like they do not keep it the same with just like decorative changes.
Big Brother always feels like in the US, like it's being done on the cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's like, oh, we got the mold out of here before y'all came.
Yeah.
Well, I will be interested to see this summer how they use that backyard because now with those new stairs, that sliding glass door that goes into the backyard is gone, and we didn't see much of the backyard this season because it's winter.
Right.
But it's just a little sliver. Just a little sliver with like the hot tub is all they had of the backyard. So
they did, but the contestants love the whole yard.
Well,
right, but you won't be able to see them out the window anymore because like a lot of people would watch out the window to see who was talking to who, and
maybe they'll revamp it for the summer. Maybe they'll have some. Maybe they're just in the midst of doing something, and this was temporarily their temporary.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
And
so we got Survivor US starting again on March 7th.
I'm struggling to think if I care.
March 7th or 9th. You still care. It's just you care for anything you care to contrast and dig into and talk.
Don't you want to see the monster?
The monster is Jeff. I figured that out. It's like, the monster at the end of this book was Grover.
But
the monster on Survivor was Jeff. It's always been Jeff.
It's always been Jeff. He thinks
been
he's a
Jeff
monster,
the whole
but
time.
really it's like whatever. All
It's
right,
been
well,
Jeff the whole time.
we will powwow behind the scenes, figure out what we're going to do there. I think that we have probably a little Australia talk maybe, and a little
Yes,
US
I do
talk.
believe that if you are watching this season of Australian Survivor, or if you have questions about it, you can always ask.
Yeah.
But I think we're planning on doing a finale show on the 20th, maybe the 27th of March when it airs the finale.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
tune in for
I love
updates
me
on
some
that.
Australian Survivor, or as I like to call it, real Survivor for real people.
Well, you
Real
know,
people.
we do know that just as a continent, Australia is harsh. And
Sort of known
But
for
the
some
people are like
badassery.
British.
Yeah,
They're like
so-
British. They're so polite to each other.
they do get along pretty well.
They do.
I mean,
They do.
like if they'd be like, "Piss off, mate," you know, and they say
It's because I think that everybody is there. Honestly, this is what my breakdown is, and we're not going to get too deep in this. My breakdown is that I think that everybody's there is there to play the game, and nobody was recruited.
Yeah.
I think these are true, honest people who love the game and want to play the game. There's nobody on there that's like, I'm an influencer, like I'm an online influencer. No, I think they're like, I've watched this show and I want to kick ass at it and win. So
I think Jamie might be right. And if you want to see if Jamie's right, go and find it. Check it out. There's ways.
There's ways. Just look into it.
Yeah, look into it. I don't know, message us. I don't know. Anyway, so that is going to be it for us tonight. Keep tuned. We'll be back at the very least, like we said, for the finale of Australia Survivor.
Maybe for the US
Maybe
Survivor.
For that, we'll see.
Maybe for Big Brother in the summer. I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
We're here.
Well, take care. Hope everybody's having a safe week and winter, and maybe we'll see.
Stay healthy, stay well.
Stay healthy. Yep, stay well.
And
that's it. That's all I got. All right, guys.
That's all there is.
We'll see ya. Bye.
Bye.